Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you guys stopped by this week. Something kind of different I want to share with you guys today. Something that happened to me over the weekend that was, didn't see it coming. Kind of crazy. The craziest thing that's ever happened to me in 55 years or soon to be 55 years. Birthday in 2 weeks, the big 5-5. So I'm getting ready for that. Excited to share this kind of horrific thing that happened to me over the weekend, share how it occurred to me first, and after I process it a little bit from the perspective of I am in charge of my life. I'm creating my life, and I took responsibility for this horrible thing happening and what it did to transform the situation. Know that might all sound really, really crazy, but I'm going to be sharing it all with you today. It's going to be really, really powerful. Hope you stay tuned. And at the end, I'm going to give you the perspective that's changed how I was looking at that thing and caused a really, really huge breakthrough that I think that you're going to relate to. And we're going to talk about it right after this. So, this story that I was talking about over the weekend. Oh, by the way, just kind of throwing in some beach vibes back here, just to kind of gently, I don't want any triggers going off in this. So, I'm going to be talking about some stuff that's going to may sound sort of weird. My ask is that you listen with open heart. I'm looking at this from a different perspective. I'm taking something that happened to me that I saw that came out of the blue. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we created our own reality, but I couldn't have done this thing. Well, this thing happened and I didn't react really well to it. I reacted the best I could in that moment, but I'm going to share why it was all unfolded perfectly. Here we go. Saturday night, I am here at my loft in downtown St. Louis, right on the riverfront. That evening, there was a party on the roof, which was great, fine. Love when people have a great time. But they went over their hours, and I started noticing myself getting annoyed, and it went on for a couple of hours. I really was just tired and wanted to go to sleep. That ended, finally got to sleep, and then around 1:30, I heard this pounding on the door. So I immediately woke up. I was in a panic. I really didn't have time to think about anything. It was just asleep, awake, and I was just in the presence of this person, which I looked through the little peephole, and it was just he didn't have a shirt on. I couldn't see what else was going on, and he was just backing up and ramming the door non-stop. I thought about it for a split second. I just dialed 911. I just realized in a split second that I was really trapped here because that was the only door out. He was standing in front of it. I'm in a skinny hallway to get out. There's no way that I could have gotten past him. And at that time, I couldn't see beyond the little peephole that if he had a knife or what was going on, or he could have been on some kind of crazy drug. I don't know, from the party upstairs. There was just so many unknowns. All I knew is I was seriously just trapped and didn't know what to do. So I pulled out my phone and I called 911. So for 15 minutes, this 911 operator is hearing everything that's going on. She's panicked for me. I'm in total panic. Just for 15 minutes, I sat there and just was shaking. Crazy, couldn't believe this was happening to me, and really, really, really present too, that I'm in this really great space. Beautiful, look at the arch, in a secure building, and all of that illusion sort of got popped. And here I am, trapped in 6 floors up and nowhere to go. And I just have me and my phone and this wonderful lady that was talking to me on 911. She didn't want me to hang up until they got here, the cops got here. It seems like it took forever, but she heard what was going on. She's the one that said, do you have anything to protect yourself? Because the door handle was coming ajar. I thought it was going to come off. There was only me and this electronic lock thing in between this crazy person on the other side of the door. Yeah, I'm kind of don't want to even relive that right now. But I think you guys got the picture. Panic time, cops come. He thinks he's trying to get into somebody else's apartment. He thinks I'm somebody else. Anyway, they realized what was going on. He was completely messed up. Took him away. That was the end of it for that evening. I went back, laid there, just shook for like an hour. I didn't have really great sleep that night. So I woke up to an email from the people that run the building. And she is stating that one of the tenants let her know that one of her guests got really inebriated. And, I was like, being with that it happened, it shook me up. It jarred me like, here I am in the world of energy. We cause our own reality. How the hell did that happen? Like, what's up? So it took me a little bit, like noon, 1 o'clock the next day, before I was able to really just sort of, okay, show me what the connection is. Show me how I attracted that into my life to learn something. Even I know that that's how it is. There are certain things in our life that we have cordoned off that doesn't apply. I had this area, obviously, that I didn't know. I just read this book called Zero Limits, written by Joe Vitale, and it's about his experience with a Hawaiian healer that used. It's basically where everything that comes up, we just take responsibility for it. And by responsibility, please hear this. If you don't hear anything else in this video, hear this. What I mean by responsibility is that I have the ability to respond. That's it. Not that it's my fault, not that somehow, some sort of shame, guilt, or anything else like in that vibratory range caused this to happen. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that I did anything wrong. I'm talking about that I have the ability to respond to this in a multitude of ways. Because that's really easy to look like that's a victim. And that this happened to me and blah, blah, blah. Like it could have just ended there. Just being able to willing to look at this way of me being responsible for it. So the Ho'oponopono prayer is that, this came to me and I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you to this particular situation. For me, it was the guy on the other side of the door. Nothing really happened. I did feel a little relief. I actually feel it right now just by saying that again, right here in this area of my body. And then not too long after that, it just kind of occurred to me to reach out and just share this crazy thing with Troy, lover. So I reach out and we start having a conversation. I said, yes, this. And she's like, sort of brought up like, how was I feeling in that moment? For me, I was feeling trapped. Like here I am, just trapped. Then it occurred to me through our conversation, was I trapped before? Have I felt trapped before? Because I had been in a relationship for 9 years and we are consciously decoupling and it's we're working through it. It's awesome. We still love each other. We still respect each other, but our lives are just going in different spaces and this is perfect and this is great and it's all good. But this particular weekend, he was hanging out with some friends, so he wasn't here. So I had this space to myself. It came up about, have I felt this way before inside the relationship with him? And I was like, yeah, but who hasn't felt trapped in a relationship? And I'm like, well, maybe other people aren't. Maybe it's just something for me. So I just kept doing a deep dive. And I'm like, well, I sort of felt like that in other relationships, trapped. And then I'm like, I feel trapped if I'm having to do something over and over again, like working 9 to 5 or in some sort of routine where I just kind of like slip out and start doing things without thinking or being present. That doesn't work for me. That makes me feel trapped. Other things in my life. And it kept going back and back and back. And then it was, growing up in the country. I felt trapped growing up on this beautiful farm that I grew up on in central Missouri. I felt trapped there. I couldn't wait to get out. I used to, at Christmas time, like that was my Christmas wish, was that I would get the hell out of there because I felt trapped. And I just kept feeling it. and processing it and feeling it and then just tracing it back and allowing these memories to sort of disjar and experience them. So it kept going back to like I had this like awareness of being born and the awareness of our non-physical selves coming into these physical bodies to fulfill our earthly journey this time. Like I remember that was the master thing. That was the thing that unlocked all of it was my awareness that I've been feeling trapped since I came here inside of my body, like my energy, because that's I've always had that awareness throughout my life. So it's just always been there and I've always sort of covered it up with something working or when you get really quiet, get to that core place. I never got there with this. This caused something deeper to happen, a deeper realization because my ultimate goal in life is freedom. That's my passion. That's what everything that I do revolves around is creating freedom for myself so that I can help people create freedom for themselves because I can't teach somebody that. I can be that and other people will get that vibration and inspire them or whatever it is, ever how the universe influences and make things happen. It's that. I can't force that on outside, but I can do it with me. And I know the ripple effect of how that works and then they do it and that's how transformation happens. Not by force, but just by us processing and evolving and raising our level of awareness in our lives causes that to happen everywhere else. This is really why that I wanted to share this with you guys is because if we start to look at the things that happen in our life and start to just ask questions and discover that what's the deeper meaning? Where is this trying to show me? Because you can't be vibrating in the background, even if you're not aware of it. You can't be vibrating trapped and ever experience really true freedom at the same time. It's just not going to happen. You can't have two things happening in the same space-time sequence because it just doesn't work. They can't be in the same place. This other has to come up and come out, but it has to be acknowledged, witnessed, and felt and released. That's what the crazy drunk guy on the other side of the door did for me on Saturday night, is gave me that. So now I had this a couple of days ago. I still have noticed it come up in a couple of situations after that where it happened last night. Hit a curb, had to have my tires replaced, and I'd made arrangements to have it all there done and so that I had it all fit and it worked on my schedule. And because I did a whole series of podcasts yesterday for Empower Podcast, and I was committed to making that work. Even though I had some barriers and blocks to that happening, I just, create right around it and just keep going. But I got back and they hadn't even started on my car yet. So I was there trapped with no car transportation at the tire place for a couple of hours. But the reality is my friend lived right down the street. I thought of it. I'm like, hey, I could just go hang out down there for a couple of hours. And boom, that's what I did. Not trapped. So it's like it doesn't stop the thing from coming up, but it does rewire and give you a new choice that you don't have to sit in that and stew in it, which will keep recreating it. I have the ability to clock it when it happens, clock that feeling, and then choose, that's not really what's happening. New thought, new action, off. That's how that works. So this fundamental thing that's been in my body and life since I stepped in here 55 years ago, that all sort of released. Super grateful for the guy coming to do that. Next time, maybe not be quite so drunk, but see, it doesn't matter. Like it was supposed to happen exactly the way that it happened. And that's the perspective that I'm a stand that I hold all of the time to hold that space for everyone else around us, because how we are looking at life is exactly how it shows up. Wayne Dyer quote is so powerful, impactful in my life ever since I've heard it. It never stops being true. It just keeps becoming more true. When we change the way that we're looking at something, that something actually changes. So crazy, like looking like a heroin crazy PCP drug addict outside my door turned into the guy that I'm actually really grateful for, because he chipped off another block and barrier of what was blocking more freedom and experiencing that in my life. So yeah, you just got to be grateful for the ride. all of it. So I hope this made sense. I hope you got some value out of it. I love sharing it with you. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If this resonated with you, please consider giving my channel a like and subscribe, and hit that little bell button right here. And we are going to see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Love you. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.